And so my dietitian actually said what you should start with is called reverse dieting. So log what you eat for a week or two, take that average, and then every 2 or 3 weeks, increase your calories around 200 to 300 calories so that you can get up to your basal metabolic rate, because you're basically reteaching your body how to process food. And so I did that. Sorry, my dogs are whining because my husband's outside. So I did that for about 5 months, and eating more food and not exercising anymore, I lost 40 pounds. I got pregnant. And then I got pregnant. And then I have a horrible, horrible pregnancy story. I wish my pregnancy on no one. I have a child who's beautiful out of it, but essentially I had lots of complications that my doctor completely ignored. And I ended up having an emergency C-section at 27 weeks. And my child was in the NICU for 83 days. And I was in the hospital for like 8 of those weeks as well. And so what really triggered me from that point on is watching my son in the NICU just naturally knowing how to fight for his life. Like, he hasn't been taught anything. He hasn't done anything. He's just fresh out of the womb. And he knows that he needs to fight for his life. And he did. And so I decided, you know, my son deserved a mom who was still around and could still be there for him. So that's really what cemented the idea to do this more. I have polycystic ovarian syndrome. So a lot of non-medical people were like, well, why don't you just do keto? Why don't you just do keto? Well, the beauty of being in the lab is I can tell you the exact cycle that a lipid takes in your life and like how it's digested and how it's metabolized. And I know exactly what the keto diet can do to you. And back then, keto was really like an excuse to eat cheese and bacon, which is not the way that keto was ever actually intended to be done. Keto was made for kids with seizures, and like if you're having salmon and avocado oil, like, yes, that's better. And with PCOS, eating dairy is really, really bad. So I got really sick of like everybody saying, do keto, do prove it, do all these, like, that's when all those drinks were out at that time and stuff. And so I actually knew Stacy's daughter, Carrie, from high school. And Carrie had been in my inbox like every month. Like, I see you on this journey. Like, I think you'd be a great person to join us, you know, that's whatever. And I kept putting her off. And then it was like January. It was negative 50 degrees in Aberdeen, South Dakota. And I was working night shift, and I did not want to take 30 minutes to drive to the gym, 10 minutes to change, maybe 30 minutes to work out, another 30 minutes to get back, and go out in the negative 50 degrees and lose 2 hours of potential sleep time. So I was like, something's got to give. So I had talked to Carrie and said, all right, let's do this. Carrie actually laughs at me because I am a scientist. I had asked her all these questions about Shakeology that she had to like submit to higher up the chain and ask the science, like the people who create the shake, the creators of the shake, all these questions, because we happened to have an Herbalife clinic where I worked at that time. And we would literally watch as people joined Herbalife, their renal function went down and their liver enzymes went up. And I was like, I'm not doing that to my body. I have no idea what it is in Herbalife that does that to your body. But I was like, I'm not doing that to my body. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll do this thing. And she recommended I get the 21-day fix because it has the portion control system in it. Since I was already used to tracking food and tracking what I was eating, she's like, you should really try portion fix. And I'm like, okay. So I got it. And after like,
Yeah. Should come back.
For people who want to do 2B mindset, not gonna lie. But I am an ultimate portion fix coach. Like, I am a portion fixer because we just lost power. Okay. I wanted to be able to learn how to eat foods. My mother-in-law actually sold Ideal Way, and that's like all food in a prepackaged box. And I didn't want that. I wanted to learn how to fix my relationship with food, because that will last a lifetime. And I have my son, and I didn't want my son to learn the terrible habits that I did. Like, I remember coming home from school and eating a Velveeta and mayo cheese sandwich for like my after school snack. I did not want to pass that on to my child. So I wanted something that would fix my relationship with food, which for me is Portion Fix, because technically nothing's off limits, but you have what's called dirty yellows, which are like, a cookie's a dirty yellow. Like, it's still a yellow, it's still a carb. You can eat a cookie, but it's a dirty yellow kind of thing. And you'll get, like, I don't know how much you've really dove into Portion Fix, but you get a list of foods, and like the foods that are at the top of the list are the best foods in the world for you to eat. So that's like where kale is, that's where spinach is, that's where grilled chicken breast is. But as you go down the list, there's more things like normal. Beans and rice on there, there's salsa on there, there's cheese, there's avocados, there's real food on there. And it comes with multiple cookbooks and a cooking show. So you're learning how to cook your food at the same time. And so I've been on Portion Fix for let's see, Caden's gonna be 6, so almost 5 years now. And I was down to 260 pounds.
Wow.
And I'm actually now pregnant again. So now I'm doing Portion Fix, but at a much higher bracket, because now I gotta eat for a little baby. But I have not gained any weight. I'm impressed with. They didn't want me gaining weight until my 3rd trimester, and I haven't yet. Like, I keep bouncing around the same 5 pounds, which with water weight and everything, there you go. But what really, I love Autumn. She's the creator of Portion Fix, and I think Stacy was going to show you. I got to meet her at our summit. It was pretty freaking awesome. And the thing is I never wanted to be, no offense, Stacy, like as skinny as you. Like, I would rather be you stacked with 20 more pounds of muscle. Like, that's just the aesthetic that I like. Like, I want to be ripped and stacked and look more like Tanya the Machine than anything else. And so I got to get nutrition under control, but I also got the weight loss programs and workouts to do that. So you will see I am constantly doing the heavy lifting programs like Body Beast and 80-Day Obsession, because that's the aesthetic that I want. And like, I used to, prior to pregnancy, be able to bust out like 20 full push-ups and all these things. And it just feels good to know that I can move my body so much and fuel it, where I used to live a life where I literally couldn't walk around a block kind of thing. So that's the kind of overreaching version of my story. Kaden, go back to your room, please, bud.
We haven't gotten into, like, we just discussed Portion Fix on our call on, was that Friday? Thursday. And so the only thing that she has that has a Portion Fix is like the ultimate Portion Fix, which I guess I'm a little bit disappointed that they don't send the 21-Day Fix book. So she doesn't have a hard copy of the portion control. Basic understanding of it. She downloaded the app so she can, track her own intake, but she doesn't have the guide or the cookbooks yet.
Gotcha.
That might be a step to invest in, to get those in hand.
Or if you're very good with the app, I mean, all the recipes are on the little Fixate bod tab.
Right. Yeah, I've been kind of playing around with looking into some of those recipes and stuff. I haven't made any of them yet, but and I love to cook. I'm adventurous actually when I cook. If I find a cool recipe that sounds like, hey, I want to try that, I will. Like, I'm not opposed to that. It's just the planning, of course. You always have to plan if you're going to cook. So if you want to eat healthy, you have to plan. So
to a certain extent, I will tell you,
yeah.
if you looked at my grocery list from 5 years ago versus like what are the staples of my grocery list now, they're 100% different. And that really helps, to be honest, is it's just changing the staples. Like my son still, like I still make mac and cheese from scratch for my husband, and he doesn't know it, but he's eating like veggie pasta and 2% cheese and skim milk. You know, we call it fixing recipes. I've been doing it long enough that it's pretty easy for me to just mentally make small changes to fix a recipe.
And I think that's what seems a little overwhelming to me right now is the whole, like, how do I tweak this recipe and make it healthier? Or how do I make a healthy version of this if I want it or something, you know, like I've done I've done lots of other types of diets or eating plans, and you get used to knowing how to eat those ways. And so like, I can eat Whole30, no problem, because I know what to make. I know what I can and can't eat. And weight always like falls off of me when I eat Whole30. But then like I don't want to eat Whole30 my entire life. Like I want to be able to.
Whole30 is actually like way more restrictive.
I know it is. I know
than what this is, because so I had someone who did a challenge with me, like so I did Whole30 for 15 days to kind of prove a point to her that I could. And I also did paleo for a while too. Those are actually like way more restrictive than Portion Fix It.
Yeah, I know it is. And for some reason though, like I don't like eating that way all the time, because I don't want to have to always use coconut milk if I want to, you know, have milk. And I don't want to, you know, never have a grain, and I never, you know, like, you know, but at least I know how to like eat that way and cook that way, and that it like it usually like causes me to lose a lot of weight when I eat Whole30. But
how did you get to that point? Like, how did you get to a point of being comfortable enough to know Whole30 and how to cook it? Like, what steps did you take to get there?
A lot of studying and a lot of like reading about it and researching recipes and organizing them and meal planning and food prep, you know, like making sure I had veggies chopped up in the fridge. And that comes with any healthy, you know, eating. Those is the more prepared I feel that I am, the more likely I am to reach for like a healthy choice than something else that might be an option in my house instead. So if I know I have healthy things in my, you know, cut up, I'm more like, but yeah, I know I need to put in the same work that I did when I started Whole30.
I would say yes, but no. Like, yes, the fact that you know the work that it takes is good, because you're not going to come into this like with really low like expectations, but I don't think you'd need to put as much work into it as you did to learn Whole30, to be pretty honest. Because really you think
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I think it's a whole shift in mindset though. Like, you know, Whole30 restricts certain foods, like lots of foods. And, you know, and so like, and while it's not like keto, I definitely wasn't eating low carb on Whole30. I just wasn't eating like grains. I was eating potatoes and starchy, you know, some starchy vegetables, but not like, I wasn't eating like, you know, oatmeal or wheat products or anything like that, you know, corn thing. And so like, I'm finding it hard, like when I eat healthy, to get enough carbs, I guess. Like, I don't know why. And I don't feel tired though. So I think my body would tell me if I wasn't eating enough. I don't feel excessively tired. So I don't know. That's, I guess, where I'm struggling is like, I know that I'm supposed to eat more calories, and I don't feel like I'm starving myself. I told Stacy at church today, I felt like all I did yesterday was try to eat the way the plan was. And all I felt like I ate so much yesterday.
You do, because you're eating
want to eat more though. Like,
because you're eating low calorie, like low caloric density food. So you eat a higher volume.
Right. But yeah, and
you know, like a cup of spinach is 30 calories. A cup of cheese is like 500 calories.
Right. Exactly. So like, and so I've always been, the mindset is like, I can eat more of the low density foods, like, but then like, I was full. I didn't want to eat anything else, even though I was like I went to bed not even eating 1,800 calories last night. I think I got right at like 1,500 calories yesterday, if I figured it out. Like, but, and I ate all day long. I felt like I didn't skimp. I had carbs, I had proteins, I had fruits, I had tons of vegetables yesterday. So like, I don't know. It's weird. Like, I don't know how to make myself get more calories.
You do a reverse diet. So like if 1,500 felt that hard for you yesterday, so to say. So Stacy, is that plan B or plan C? I think that's plan.
I came downstairs because Dean was working on the windowsill and I didn't want him to feel like he had to stay quiet. So let me go back up and get my book.
Okay, because I'm on my phone, otherwise I'd look up. So that's either plan B or plan C. Like, I think that's right on the edge of them. So
B.
Would be B. Yeah. So then what you do is you eat plan B for 2 weeks and then look at plan C and try to bump up, and like whatever, like let's say on plan B you're supposed to eat 3 yellows and on plan C you're supposed to eat 4, and you struggle always to get 3 yellows in. Don't immediately the next week jump to plan C and like beat yourself up because you haven't ate the 5 extra containers it takes to eat plan C. Start with the first 3 J's, just adding in that yellow, and then add in another red, then add in another green for about 3 weeks until you're comfortable eating on plan C, and then bump yourself up to plan D that same way. It's called reverse dieting. You can look it up and research it and stuff.
Okay. I will.
But that's the sustainable way to do it, because you probably did feel really full because your metabolism isn't used to working to eat that much, and your body was like, whoa. But that's the whole point, is we want your metabolism to get that signal to go whoa and ramp up and fuel up.
So like before 2 weeks ago when I started trying to eat healthy again, like I was eating probably over 3,000 calories a day though. So like at least, I don't know. I mean, like I wasn't even caring or paying attention to how many calories I ate. And so like, I don't know. I don't know how I would have to teach my body to eat more because it's used to eating more. Like, I don't get that, I guess. But
the food that you were eating to get that 3,000 calories, I'm assuming that most of it was like processed type.
Yeah, it wasn't good food. Yeah.
Right. So those types of foods that don't have any nutrients in them, they don't send signals to your body that you're full.
Okay.
The cells are still starved for nutrients. So the cells still say, I'm hungry because I still haven't gotten what I need.
Okay.
Where if you're eating nutrient-dense food, you're going to be satisfied faster.
Okay, that makes sense. And that's probably why I'm having such a hard time, because when I eat healthy, like I feel like, oh my gosh, I can't eat any more of this because I'm like,
right, you can't eat any more of that, but I bet you $5 you could still go eat like a number 10 at Wendy's today and be like, oh yeah, I can cram this down. Because it's exactly what she's talking about. I'm not trying to be rude when I say that. I'm just trying to give you an example of like, that's what Stacy's talking about. And like for me, I have a disorder where I need to eat like literally 3,800 milligrams of salt a day, which scares most people. But so like I know when my body, like I can feel it when it's craving salt, and like I need to go eat some like lunch meat or pickles or whatever. Like you learn what things your body is deficient in, essentially. And my body's deficient in the sodium intake that it needs.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's like, I don't know. It's something new and hard to learn, and my brain is trying to like rationalize it and not feel super frustrated, because I don't know. You want to see results, and when you don't see results, you get like, you're like,
and I will say, take lots of pictures. I actually sent Stacy some pictures because she's the host to like show you. But I took my weight and I took my measurements and I took pictures. And even like just after 10 days, my weight was maybe down 2 pounds, but you can, like, in pictures, to physically see the difference in the amount of bloat I have is insane. And
Okay.
like, I would measure around my belly button, it's like a 2.5-inch difference, and it's because it's all bloat. That's not weight. That's not going to reflect on the scale, but
You're
that's
right.
what a picture shows you, and that's what a
Yeah.
measurement shows you.
Okay. Well, that makes sense too. Yeah, I guess, it's hard when you don't see results. I'm like, I've been eating really well for 2 weeks, and like, I feel like I haven't moved at all on the scale. And in fact, like today I was up 1.5 pounds, and I was like, why? And like, I'm eating good foods.
Really trust the process.
Okay.
I would say, like, really give 90 days. Like, Whole30 wants you to give 30 days because we're like reverse dieting you. I would say, like, give Stacy, give us as a team, because you have access to me at any time you want to talk to me too. Like, give it a solid 90 days.
Okay.
Because not only are we going to be detoxing you out of whatever the 3,000 calories 2 weeks ago was that you were eating,
Yeah.
we're going to be reverse dieting you. And then I don't know if you want to add movement in on top of all of that. Like, that's a lot for your body to process, and it's going to go into shock, and you're going to get this cortisol response where your cortisol is going to go up because your body's in shock. So your weight's going to go up, and then your body's going to adjust, and your cortisol will come down. And then that's when you see the results.
Yeah. Okay, I can try that. I'm willing to, like I've said, I'm willing to try anything. I've done Whole30, so like, if I can do that hard thing, I'm sure I can do this too.
What she said in the book Made to Crave that really hit me was, she said, when you're feeling frustrated, it's a story where she's like pulling the ponytail out of her hair and trying to tippy toe on the scale to make it be like 0.5 pound less. And that at the end of the day, did I follow my eating plan? Yes.
Yeah.
Did I move more? Yes. Did I drink my water? Yes. Did I get a night's rest? Yes.
Yeah.
Choice in those things.
Okay.
Those will follow, but like she said, it's going to take a while.
Well, and that's what I keep telling myself, that even if I'm not seeing results like right away, that I know logically I'm putting good fuel into my body, and like that makes me a healthier person alone. Like, just putting good fuel in there, cleaner foods, and eliminating all the processed junk foods. I mean, that alone is going to make me a healthier person, whether or not it shows up on the scale or not.
Right.
So
And weight loss is one indicator.
Right. Yeah.
Indicator. What you're doing for your body is super incredible. So it's what you're doing for your long-term health and your future a decade from now. It's hard to think in those terms because we want things, like you're going to start results. So.
Well, and unfortunately, we live in an instant society with, our society has gone from like keto, instant results, the quick method, whatever, to the body positivity movement, which started out as something great. You should show yourself self-love and self-respect. Right. You absolutely should. But I knew at 405 pounds, I was not healthy. Like, I should not be preaching at 405 pounds body positivity, I'm unhealthy. Yes, I can love myself, but it's because I loved myself and loved my body that I did make those changes.
Right.
You know what I mean? And unfortunately, society doesn't teach us any of that. It teaches us the clickbait that happens on the internet, and you're like, oh yeah, that looks great. Here we go.
Yeah.
What scares you about it, Julie?
What's that?
What scares you about it? What scares you about the process of changing, of learning a new program, of all of those?
I don't know, failure.
Okay.
So, but what does failure look like to you? What does failure mean to you in your mind?
I'm gonna stop the recording now. Okay.